the button. Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to day 5 of the Streamline Your Tech Bootcamp. I cannot believe we are at Friday already. That is crazy. In fact, oops, let me click my slide. Oops. It's Friday. We must dance. Come on, everybody, cheer dance with me. Woo! Or as a lot of people like to say, fry yay. I think I actually picked that up from Tracy. But honestly, I just want to, first of all, say a huge thank you for those of you who really have showed up here on the live and consistently every day. It has been such a wonderful experience to share this time with you. And I am very deeply grateful that you've wanted to share this time with me. And I'm just so thankful for all of the comments that have been coming back in, that people have been getting value and actually having a little bit of fun doing all of this. So thank you so much for being part of it. And let's get into today. Good morning, Allie. Okay, so today is going to be all about funnels. And I do have a worksheet for you. I'm going to drop that in the chat. Like yesterday, it's one of those, make sure you can download it because I think you might want to have it for reference, but don't worry so much about actually making notes on it because it's not that big of a deal. Okay, so I just want to check in, Allie, make sure you're all good. If you had any questions before we get started, since we've already checked in with everybody else. You're muted, hon. You're muted, hon.
I'm so sorry. I was taking my walk. I suddenly realized what the time was. Yeah, I just feel like I only just logged off from last night, which was really thought-provoking. So
Awesome.
yeah, I'm excited.
Excellent. All right. So today we're going to talk about, it's all about funnels. So let me go ahead and get that shared. So there are different kinds of funnels, and we're going to focus on lead generation, consult, sales, and follow-up. And so we're going to talk about the different kinds of funnels, what they do, why we want them, and just that reminder that these are, because these are what we're going to build out in the academy. These are the things that step by step we're going to put together for you. So a lead generation funnel is really that first contact that they have with you. And that goal is to influence them and shift their belief about something, to show that you understand what they're going through, and it does build trust with them. So this is where your lead magnet that you're putting together really focuses. So it's showing them that you have an expertise, that you are really able to connect with what they're going through because you've been there, and putting it all together for them. And it's that entryway into them knowing that you can help them. And it's that point that really starts to build the trust, which is why we want to build that, kind of big thing that they're going to be able to do those actionable items. So yeah, it influences and shifts their belief. It is using their specific language. This is where, when you're talking to clients, I really suggest making notes of things that they're saying, questions that they're asking, and making sure to write it in the language that they're using, because that is absolute gold. If you can feed that back to them, it's like a friend of mine was saying that he had a friend whose catchphrase was, "Oh man, it's out of this world, it's out of this world, it's out of this world." So he bought him a birthday present one year, and he got a card, and he wrote in it, "I really hope your birthday is out of this world." And this guy went ballistic for that card. It's like the present was great, but he loved the card so much. And it was and he didn't even realize it, but it was because he used his catchphrase. And it just, it's like it made their friendship like 10 times better. It was awesome. So it's, you want to use their specific language. It's showing that you're truly understanding where they're coming from and what they're experiencing. And it really makes it feel personalized for them. If somebody feeds back to you your words, I mean, how many times have you ever had that happen where you're talking to a friend or even a coach, and you say something about what you're going through, and then they feed it back to you in your words, and you're just like, oh, thank God somebody heard me. Somebody understands. It's the same thing with your marketing. That's why your copywriting is so huge. And we're going to get to that in a little bit. So it's all about the lead generation funnel. Thank you, honey. Is all about building trust. It's not about getting the sale. It's not about getting them on the call. Honestly, it's not even about getting their email address. It's about showing that you are someone who gives value and something that they can trust. And you want to make sure that you follow through on what you promise. I personally am a big fan of overpromising and under-delivering. For example, I was helping Allie with her website, and I think I promised her about a 3 to 4 week turnaround for the work that I was doing, and I think I got it to her in about 10 days. And so I'm going to assume, Allie, that felt really good to be able to do that. And so it's like, yep, overpromise or underpromise, overdeliver. Make sure that if they're ordering a lead magnet, that they get it in their inbox ASAP. Automation is a perfect thing to set up to do this, so that when they click submit on that button, they get a text message that says, hey, watch your inbox. This is going to be coming from this email address. And then within 5 minutes, it's there. And and the best part is you don't even have to do anything. It happens automatically. Make sure, as we talked about on Tuesday, make sure that lead magnet has really solid information with things that they can immediately implement, so that they know if they do work with you, they're going to get high value that makes immediate change. And don't forget, and you'd be surprised how many people do this, remember to put your contact information on it, so that when they fall in love with the lead magnet, they can get a hold of you. But it's amazing how many people don't do that. And then, of course, make sure that your system is set up that as soon as they register for that lead magnet, they go onto your email list and you begin the nurture sequence with them. So some of the benefits to you of a lead generation funnel is that it does capture people's attention. You're using specific images and language for your ideal client. So you can kind of see how it may not have made sense earlier in the week, but how it's all kind of fitting together now that we did that deep dive on the ideal client. So you have a really strong understanding of who you're talking to. Then the lead magnets to put together the things that are going to attract that ideal client in their language, in their sphere, and then the technology that helps put it all together and run your business for you, so you don't have to work so hard. So the lead generation funnel also builds trust. It shows that you give value, and that you're not just focused on them for a paycheck, but you genuinely want to help them. The lead magnets and the lead magnet process and the lead generation funnel can actually, in its own way, overcome a lot of the objections. If you structure it right and include the right information, you can actually answer a lot of their questions and overcome their objections just through your lead magnet. It does create desire. It makes them want to know more. And if you're using social proof and showing what benefit other people have received from working with you, they're going to be like, ooh, I don't want to miss out on that. And always encourage the action. Always put a call to action button. Give them something that they are going to want to take advantage of. I'm sure you've seen those things where it's like, hey, download my PDF to my top 10 ways to attract clients or whatever. And then you get to the thank you page, and there's like a little video or something that says, hey, before you go, I'm really excited that you're here. Let me tell you about this. Here's my low ticket offer, or here's where you can book in with me, and you just add that little bit of a level there. And it does encourage them to take that next step with you. So any questions on the lead generation funnel before we move on? All right, cool. Just drop the chat over here so I can see that. And so the next one is the consult funnel. And it was really interesting because, okay, this is the one that over 90% of coaches want to get people on. This is what they call that discovery call. Okay. And it was really interesting that I had someone on the evening session on Tuesday when we were talking about lead magnets, very excited about this whole lead magnet process. And he wanted to do one that he wanted his lead magnet to lead to a discovery call. But it was interesting when I said to him, okay, so your goal is to get that person on a call. And he's like, yeah, absolutely. I said, great. What's in it for them? He's like, what? I said, what is in it for your client? What actionable takeaway or learning or belief shift are they going to get from your lead magnet? Oh, they're going to jump on a call with me so I can help them. Yeah, but what's going to make them want to, and we just kept going back and forth, and he just wasn't quite getting that disconnect, that it really is a process. So with the consult, the goal is to get them to book in a call with you, but it's still needing to show that you understand what they're going through and what they need, and demonstrate the value of what you offer in such a way that they're going to want to learn more. So it's really about, I know that there are some people who are saying, look, I really want to be a coach because I can make a lot of money as a coach. I can have that laptop lifestyle. And there is nothing wrong with that. But the one weird thing that I do know is that if you're focused on your business being successful, it either never becomes successful or it takes forever to become successful. But if you focus on the clients and what they need and making sure they get what they need, then oddly enough, all of the business and all of the success and all of the money follows on that. I don't know. Okay. So the benefits of a consult funnel, and there are a lot of benefits to this. You get to really target in and speak to that ideal client. You may end up getting a few people that are not quite that right fit, and that is totally fine. And in fact, you want that to happen, but you are going to really focus in on that ideal client. You will have an increased revenue because you will be moving more people through it, because they become paying clients because you are speaking to that really specific niche. You're going to have increased client loyalty because it's such a positive experience to go from the lead magnet to the consult to the sales and the follow-up, that it's an enjoyable experience. It doesn't have to feel like a sales process. It is enjoyable. It's fun. You're transforming, you're learning, you're having hope. Okay, drop an H in the chat if you've ever had a conversation with a client, and at the end of it, they look at you and they say something to the effect of, oh, I am so glad I found you. Now I know I can sleep at night because this is going to get taken care of. And is that not just the best feeling ever? The first time that happened to me, I got off the call and I sat down and cried because I was just so excited I was excited for them. I was so happy for them that I was giving them something that was giving them that level of peace. And it was just like, oh man, that's awesome. And I'll tell you, when that kind of thing happens, they become super fans. And yes, Risha, I'm looking at you. I love Risha. She is one of my super fans, and I am truly grateful to her for it. Okay. So it becomes a more efficient sales process rather than, okay. Have you ever, drop an S in the chat if you've ever felt like you're just throwing spaghetti at the wall and you're like, okay, I'm going to do this lead magnet. I'm going to try and do these consult calls. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. And it's all like, and there's no real like plan to it. That's one of the beauties of doing it, is that you now have a more structured way to set up your clients to interact with you and to want to work with you and to move them through that sales process without even necessarily realizing that they're in the middle of a sales process. And that's really kind of brilliant. There is a clear benefit that the client, okay, going into a consult call is also a little bit like a lead magnet call. And that's why when I say, if you book an academy call with me, I'm happy to do a tech review so that we can look at what's working for you, what's not, and then see whether or not the academy is going to be a fit. But either way, at the end of it, you're going to have a tech review. And if you want that. And that is something tangible, actionable, and valuable. Okay. And they want to know that because nobody likes to be sold to. So if they jump on a consult call with you, so for example, my associate, he's like, I just want to get them on the call so I can talk to them about, the energy work that I do. And I'm like, well, that's great. But what's their reason for actually getting on the call with you? And giving them value. It's sort of that freemium concept. Like, for example, how Spotify has a free program and Canva has a free program, and it has all the full features and pretty much all the full features and benefits, but the paid version has more bells and whistles or no ads, but you still get incredible value on the free version. You want to approach your consult calls in the same way that I'm going into this with giving them a huge value and then offering them my full package. So I'm going to give them one little tiny piece of what I do that hopefully is going to make them want to pay for the full package and the no ads on Spotify kind of idea. And it really does make a huge difference if they feel like, okay, I'm not just going to get sold to. Now, everybody knows that when you jump on these things, there is going to be a pitch. And a lot of times when I talk to people, I will, we'll go through the review, we'll do this, we'll do that, and then I'll say, okay, so we all know that this is also that the pitch is also part of it, and if you came in here expecting it, well, I'm not going to disappoint you. And that usually gets a bit of a giggle. But what I have learned is I've actually gotten to the point where I look at my pitch as a service. And I know we've all heard that selling is serving or selling is helping, and all of that. But I've gotten to a point of passion with my platform and my program that I honestly feel like if I don't tell people about it and I don't give them that opportunity, then I am doing them a huge disservice. And it's not fair. If they say no and it's not for them, absolutely fine. No worries whatsoever. But if I don't at least tell them about it, I'm not doing them any favors. So, and your consult call can be linked to your lead magnet, like maybe it's a review or some suggestions or recipes or a guided meditation or whatever. So maybe if you're doing the guided meditation recording and you've sent that to them, then we're going to talk about it and say, okay, have you tried it? Maybe do this, do that. Here are some techniques to make it more effective. And they're going to come away from that going, wow, they actually really want me to succeed doing this. How cool is that? You want to, again, provide social proof that if you have had other clients who have had success doing this, then it's, tell them about it. If you have a little presentation to do on your call, maybe not, I wouldn't necessarily go to the full on PowerPoint thing, but if you do have a couple of things to share or a short video, there's nothing wrong with that. Include the urgency. When you are telling people and setting up these consult calls, limit the number of people who can do it. Or like, for example, with my academy, I only have 15 spots available. Once that's filled, I'm not taking on anybody else because I have to keep it a small group. So make people want that to get in on that and have a clear call to action. So show them, okay, so here's what we've started. Here's what we've started with. Here's what we're doing. Here are your next clear steps. And if you want, I can work with you to take those so that you get to where you want to go. Easy done. Any questions on the consult funnel before we move on? All right, excellent. So the next one is the sales funnel. And this is the one that most people really kind of focus on, where instead of the lead magnet and the funnel, this is the one where that they really try to get them into, because this is the one where you make the money. Yeah, and nothing wrong with that. So the goal is to influence potential clients to buy your product or service. It gets to show the huge, big benefit that they get from working with you instead of working with somebody else or no one else. And this is the one that is given at the end of the workshop. You can give it at the end of your consult funnel process, but this is the one where they want to read more. So you have that detailed landing page that really gets into it. Pardon me. And I do have some examples of that if you want to reach out to me privately, I'm more than happy to share those with you. So some of the benefits and elements of a sales funnel is that, again, you're really targeting that niche market. You're really speaking their language, using the images that they relate to, and they really want and need what you have. And they've gotten to know you. So they're really looking to get interested in this. You get to have increased communication because you're putting a lot of detailed information on that landing page and really showing them everything they get and how they're going to benefit from it. And I will say this, really pound the benefits. Most people pound the features. Like, oh, you can do this. It slices, it dices, it sharpens, it, all of that. But they don't talk about the benefit. So let's say those Ginzu steak knives that you come as the free gift with something, with something else that you bought. They slice, they dice, they can cut through a tin can, they can then cut a tomato, they can cut a piece of paper, they can do whatever, they look gorgeous. And the features are all wonderful. But I would seriously give them a second look if they said to me, if you have arthritis, you can chop your vegetables and you're not going to hurt your hand. You see what I'm saying? Because I love to cook, but I have arthritis in my thumb and now it hurts to chop strong vegetables. But if I had a knife that made it like butter, I would seriously consider buying that no matter what it cost, because that means I'd get to go back into my kitchen. So you are showing them those really massive benefits and really pointing out those benefits of what you give as opposed to everybody else. You're going to put a lot of social proof on here. You're going to put a lot of pictures of people with their testimonial, little videos. You're going to really want to hit that social proof, because there are some people that will make that the more social proof they see, the more they want in, because they're starting to get FOMO because of it. Okay. I have to admit, okay, drop a P in the chat if you have ever been on someone's page and landing page and you're ready to buy and you can't find a buy now button and you have to scroll down to the very bottom of the page, and it's about, and it feels like it takes you about 10 years to get there. And you're just like, and by the time you finally find the click now button, you've almost talked yourself out of it. Okay. So yeah, I really hate that. So you want to put a summary at the bottom with your buy now and all of that, but you want to sprinkle a little bit of that throughout the page so that those who are in the buy zone stay in the buy zone and buy. So just a little tip there. And you want to create some urgency by showing the retail value. It's like when I was talking about the academy. The retail value of the academy is about $25,000, but I'm offering it for significantly less. So it makes people go, ooh, okay. And that price is going to go up. Okay, let's talk about this. So any questions on the sales funnel before we move on? Okay, excellent. So the last one is the follow-up funnel. And this is for those potential clients that do not go into the sales funnel, or if they do, they don't purchase. And it is, so maybe they've downloaded your lead magnet. They may have even gone on to have the consult call with you, but for whatever reason, they did not become a paying client. So the purpose of this funnel is for them to know that you're checking in with them, that you haven't forgotten them, that they don't matter because they didn't buy, because that is not the truth. I've heard it said that the payment is in, or the power is in the follow-up, because the more you follow up, the more people are going to feel like, oh, you're not just one of those, you actually care about me and you want to connect with me. So it's actually going to make a huge difference. And it also keeps them engaged with your content. So when you email them, so like if you do a follow-up, this is, hey, we had the consult call and, I haven't heard from you. I just wanted to check in, make sure everything's okay, see if you have any questions. Oh, and here's this little one-page thing that I put together that I thought you might like. And one of those little secondary lead magnets that shows value, that shows, hey, I've been thinking about you and your situation. Here's something that might help, and I'm just here if you need me. It's all about creating relationship. I know that we all okay. So drop an F in the chat if you really hate those Facebook messengers that as soon as they friend you, the first thing they do is say, "Hey, here's all about my program. You should buy it." Tracy's like, "Yeah." I loathe and despise these people. And sometimes I will, if I'm bored, I'll actually email them and say, "You realize that you're a spammer. You're coming across as spam because I have no relationship with you. I don't know, like, or trust you. So why would I buy from you? Why would I give you any of my time?" And that is the key is and that's what this whole process has been doing, and it's all about is building that relationship so that when you do get to the point of selling or needing to follow up, it's about creating and strengthening that relationship. When do I have time to be bored? This week, not at all. But there are times that it happens once in a while, once in a great when I actually take the day off and sit and watch Netflix all day, I end up on my phone half the time. But it really is all about creating that relationship and nurturing them so that when they are ready to take that step, they know to come to you because you've been there all along. It's focusing on them. And like we said before, when you focus on them, the business and the money will follow, and the fortune is in the follow up. So, any questions on the funnels before we move on to anything else? Because I've got some interesting statistics for you. Okay, looks like we're all good. Okay, so this is your target market, and it's what's known as the buyer's journey. And the first level, oops, wrong button. Sorry about that. Not enough coffee yet this morning. Okay, so the first button, or first level, sorry, the first level is the people who know that they're not interested. They want nothing to do with you. They're perfectly happy going through life the way that they are. Okay. The next level doesn't think they're interested, but they don't know enough to know if they're interested or not. And that's about 60% of your potential audience out there, just right there. The other 30%, they're not even thinking about it. They're just off living their life, doing whatever, and they haven't even thought about what you're doing. The next 6% are pretty much open to it, but they don't know what they don't know. They don't know why, but they're open to having a conversation or learning more about it. And then the top 3% are the people who are ready to buy now. They've been looking for something like this. And these are the dream people, but that basically you just start talking and they're like, "Yes, I want that." Those are the gifts from God. Those are what I like to call those the gifts from God. And honestly, 90% of people focus on the 3%. They want the ones that are just ready to buy now. And I understand that. I get that because they're the ones that feel good. It's easy and it just flows. But as you can see, there's a lot more people who are in the other zones than the ones that are in that buy zone. So and I'm not saying there's anything wrong with competition, but if you focus in the other areas, you can actually make a lot of difference. So, for example, oops. Okay, so the bottom 30%, we're not even going to bother. They're not interested. They don't want to know us. We're not even going to talk to them. Don't waste your time. Don't waste your marketing money. Don't waste your hard-earned money on people who don't want you. The next one is the middle section. The people who don't think that they're interested, but don't know yet. The ones who aren't thinking about it and the ones that are open to it. Those are the ones that you really want to focus on. But the honest truth, though, is that your approach and what you say is going to be different between these people and that 3%. And copy is the key. Your copywriting is what makes a huge difference to those lower levels of the pyramid. Those really grabby headlines that make them stop and go, I wonder if they could be talking about me. I wonder if I could use that. And the details and the value that you put in the content, that's what's going to get the attention and get them to start moving into that journey. Your lead magnet and consult funnels especially are really geared toward those middle 3 levels, because you're basically the people in the top 3%, you can send them a link to your landing page, to your sales page and your sales funnel, and you're done. No big dramas. Everybody else needs to go through the rest of that process to really develop that trust and education about what it is that they actually need. So if you would drop an N in the chat if you have ever had a potential client, somebody who's probably in one of those lower 3 levels, say to you, okay, well, this is what I need, and it's what they think they need. But listening to them, they actually need something else. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And that's the job of your copy, is to get them to understand that what they think they need might not actually be what is they actually need. So it's about, relating in a way that makes you feel like a friend, so that when they get on that consult call with you, they feel like they're just jumping in with a friend, and that it's not because there's few things as awkward as getting onto what is going to be a sales call, right? But if you're just hopping on to get more information and you feel like you're chatting with a friend, it's a much more comfortable, easy thing. And quite honestly, they're going to be a lot more open to what you have to say. It makes it more enjoyable for honestly both of you. And it's about focusing on the relationship. Again, the benefit of focusing on the person, on their needs, making sure they get what they want, you're actually going to build a bigger, more successful business if you don't worry about the money and you just focus on the people, which is awesome, because as coaches, we like to focus on people anyway, because I've lost track of how many coaches have said to me, oh, I really I don't care about the money. I don't worry about the money. And it's because you're such lovely, heart-centered, loving, giving people that it's going to be natural that it really does come. So I'm actually going to stop the slide for a second, and I'm going to ask, how would you speak differently to someone who is not looking versus someone who's ready to buy now? And because we're a small group, I'm going to invite you to unmute yourself and just talk a little bit about what is the different approach that you would use.
Okay, this is really interesting, because I actually don't know that I have a different approach.
Okay.
So if I think about, say, the wellness room, which is more of a face-to-face thing at the minute, if I think about that, somebody who's interested as opposed to somebody who doesn't know if they're interested or not interested at all, I actually don't think I have a different approach, because I just want everybody to have like bars and energy work in their life, because it's so wonderful. So I haven't actually thought about that, I guess.
Okay, so I'm going to challenge you to think about that. So let's say you are out for coffee and you meet someone who knows about bars, who knows about Reiki and energy work, and is like, oh my God, this is awesome. I've been looking for somebody who does that. Can you tell me about what you do and what your approach is, and tell me about your room? So that's one conversation, is, okay, I'm familiar with what you do. Tell me about your specific work. The other one, that the person that you meet is like, oh, you're an energy worker. What's bars? What does it do? What's the benefit of having something like that done? It's going to be a completely different conversation.
Yeah, okay, yes. Looking at it from that point of view, yes, it is. So I guess I probably hadn't separated it in my mind.
And that's the exact reason why I'm doing this section, is because so many people, when they're doing their marketing, it's like a general across the board thing. They don't stop and think, oh, okay, so what stage? And that's back in the ideal client worksheet, I think it's the second section, is what stage of the journey are they in? And that's the point that you want to speak to when you're looking at these different, because we're going to be putting out different marketing for these different groups, for the people who don't know what it is and don't know if they're interested, people who are open to it, and people who think they might want it, but they're not sure. And excuse me, so you're going to want to speak to each level of that. And the best part, though, is that as you go to do that, people who are a little farther along are going to go, oh, okay, I see where you're going with that. Yeah, I want to know about that. And they're going to recognize themselves on the way in.
It's interesting to talk about, I guess, and provoke thoughts about the two different things. So the face-to-face and the in-person work, like meeting somebody at the coffee shop. And then if I think about the coaching side of the business, to me, that's a completely different concept.
Yep. Yeah. And you're going to approach the marketing for both of those separately. Yeah. And you're going to then narrow it down even further, again, for what stage of the journey are they on.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Now I've got a headache. Thank you.
Oh, I'm sorry. You're welcome. More coffee. Would anyone else like to share? No. Leanne, yes.
Me. I think I would like a little clarity so that I can really understand this section that we're talking about. In the slide, you've got the box around the focus here, the people who are on their part of the journey, open to it, not thinking about it, don't think they're interested. So the middle bit, the not thinking about it, are they not thinking about what? And am I talking to someone who's totally oblivious to everything that I might have to offer? They don't understand anything about it. And so there's this whole conversion going on.
You're welcome to start there and really educate people on what it is that you do. So for, in like 2 sentences, can you give us an idea of what it is that you do, Leanne?
Oh, I didn't want to do that right now.
Oh, sorry. Okay.
Right. So no,
no, that's okay. I was just thinking so that I can pull out better examples.
Yeah, true. But like I'm seeing that the process is sort of, maybe I have been focusing too much on those who I believe are ready to buy, and the ones that are just prior to that, and giving more of the benefits than the features. So I think I tend to do more features than benefits.
Actually, the technique that I have learned, that I have found the most effective when structuring a post or whatever, is you talk about the need, and then you get into the features of what they can use that will help make their lives better. And then you go into the benefit of, okay, so you have, this is what it is so that you can do this. And what that ultimately means is this for you. So let's say you need to hang a picture and you go to Bunnings. And I've heard it said that they don't buy the hammer, they buy the hole. Because what they think they need is a hammer. What they actually need is a nail in the wall to hang the picture. So when you're selling the hammer, it's like, okay, so you have a need to put a nail in the wall. I'm going to recommend this particular hammer because what that means is that you will be able to easily and comfortably, with the grip on it, put that nail in the wall. And what it ultimately means is that your in-laws are not going to be ashamed of you because you put the picture that they gave you in the closet and not on the wall. And you, yeah, I know, right? And you walk them through. It's like, so, and you just keep building so you can. So then ultimately what this means for you. So you can do this, then what that means and what that ultimately means. And you really show them that benefit.
Yeah.
And it's like on Wednesday, when I went through that series of slides of, so what, simplifying and streamlining your technology and getting it simple and integrated. What that means for you is more time for your business, more time for your family, more time for your friends, more time away from your kids and doing stuff for yourself, all of that. And what it ultimately means is you get to have that life you've always dreamed of. That's really punching those benefits.
Yeah.
But depending on which area you're targeting, you're going to change that a little bit, because if people aren't thinking about it, then your entire headline and first couple of lines are all going to be things that want to grab their attention and make them think about it. If they're open to it, it's going to grab their attention and say, hey, you've been thinking about this. Maybe it's time to start taking action on it. You know, if they don't think they're interested, it's like, well, let's get you interested because this could be awesome for you. You know, but you're going to structure each one of those just that little bit differently. And then it becomes a matter of, you know, if you're running ads or whatever, trying and testing different ones to see which ones are really resonating with people. But the honest truth is there's, you know, 66% of the market out there that most people aren't even thinking about or talking to because they're not ready to buy. And it's like this huge untapped market.
Yeah. Cool. Okay.
Yep. No worries.
Stop.
No, all good. All good. It was a good question. Any other questions or comments? No? Okay, cool. So some people go through the entire process. They start out at, you know, by capturing their interest on social media or an ad or whatever. And then they go into your lead magnet and they're like, oh, I like that. I'm going to download that. And then they're like, wow, I really found that useful. I'm going to book a call. And at the end of the call, they're like, you know what? I'm really liking what I'm hearing. Let me see the information about your signature program. And I'm probably going to sign up, which is awesome. And others may jump in at various points depending on where they are in the pyramid. So you're putting stuff out there, and sometimes you're going to attract people at various levels of that pyramid. And that's when it starts to get really fun and you get to have those really interesting conversations. But the upshot of this is let the funnels do the heavy lifting. Let the automations and the funnels and the lead magnets put them together in such a way that they do the really heavy work for you. So that is pretty much what I have for today. So I am going to ask you to unmute and share any highlights that you feel that you have gotten from today.
Okay, so they're not as big and scary as I think they are. How's that?
Yes.
I think, yeah, the whole idea of setting up funnels and lead pages and all that. And I mean, you know, like I'm sure I've bought off them.
Yeah.
And I scroll through some of them, I think, oh, I'm probably going to swear, holy shit, I can't do that. Like, but also some of them I scroll through and I think, oh God, you know, like, why haven't you checked yourself? Like, it's too long, it's too laborious. And I think, yeah, some of it I was like, oh, you get sick of scrolling through it, and in the end, which is probably a blessing in disguise, really, for my credit card.
Yeah.
That, you know, I'm out.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. And it's that you have to find a balance between giving information, giving social proof, showing the details of everything that you get and the benefits, and the fact that most people have the attention span of a gnat these days.
And it just seems to be so much competition. Not that competition's a bad thing.
Right.
It can be a very, very good thing.
But how do you make yourself stand out?
Exactly. And
Yeah.
I think for me, that's always been one of the most overwhelming aspects of it. And it's like,
yeah. And it's
how do I do this?
And it's also balancing those pages for different types of learners, because there are some people who love to get into all of those details. And then there are people like me who's like, okay, I want to see the details. I want to know that it's there. But basically, I just want the summary. I want to know how much it is, and I want to buy now.
Yeah.
You know, and it's finding a way to kind of structure that so that it meets the needs of those of both types.
It's interesting because there was a book I was looking at buying, and I can't actually even remember what it was called now, because the sales page and the funnel that led to the book was just so laborious
Yeah.
But in the end, I just went, I'll find it somewhere else because
Yeah.
I don't have time to do this and I don't want to do this. And this is all stuff that I'm actually not interested in. I just want the bloody book.
Yep. I hear you.
Yeah.
I hear you.
Yeah. So that scares me a little bit.
Yeah. Okay. Leanne, did you have a comment?
Mm-mm.
Okay. All right. Anybody else want to give a highlight before we move on?
Yeah, it sort of almost feels doable. And I know I have to get rid of that mental block because I'm quite passionate about what I do. And if you find what you do is second nature, you kind of don't put so much value on it. Whereas
Yep,
other
yep.
people don't know what I know.
Exactly. And no one knows exactly what you know. Of all the people that have existed in all of time and space, there's only one you.
Mm,
I heard
yeah.
that one day and I was like, ooh, I guess I am a little special. And it's not just my mom saying it. But it really is about that unique value proposition. And we haven't gotten into that really this week, but it's finding those things that do set you apart and then being able to make that happen. But bottom line, I have some good news for you. And it actually plays into both what Tracy and Allie were saying, is that you don't have to do it all by yourself. It doesn't have to be overwhelming because we do it together in the academy. And let me just grab that. It is 12 weeks of deep diving and hand holding, honestly, hand holding and going through everything. And that reminder that we do set everything up together, click by click, including your essential automations, so that everything happens automatically and it does the heavy lifting for you and you don't have to worry about it. We show you how to set up your email campaigns so that you are communicating with your clients and nurturing your potential clients on a regular basis. We handhold and click by click, no student left behind, build your website. We'll build the landing pages, the lead generation, sales, consult, and follow-up funnels, including the automations for the follow-up funnel that sends things periodically. And then if they reply, it sends a different strand of messages. And it's really kind of awesome. And just a reminder that is limited to 15 participants. Several spots have already been taken. So if you are interested, I would love for you to set up a call so we can do that tech review for you and also see if the Academy would be a good fit. So today's home play, hopefully you'll still do it, is to create a description of what you want to include in your lead funnel, consult, sales, and follow-up funnels. And I'm going to drop that link in the chat again so that if you didn't download the spreadsheet before, you can do that now. Oops, wrong one. That was the costing one. Sorry. The funnels worksheet. Oops. And so there's the one for the worksheet. And of course, if you do that, I'd love to see your results and highlights in the Facebook group. I appreciate everybody who has been dropping information and chats into the Facebook group. It's been awesome to see what you all are working on. And of course, there's that link to follow up and do a call with me. And I'm going to drop that link into the chat again for you. So it has been quite a week. And I'm going to take that down now. And I just cannot tell you how humbled and honored I am that you have chosen to spend every day with me this week. Or even if you've only been able to join for some of the sessions or even just on the replays. It is such a humbling thing that people that you have chosen to spend your very incredibly valuable time with me. And even more so that you've been telling me that you've been getting value from some of the things that I've been sharing. So I want to thank you for being part of my inaugural boot camp. It's been an adventure this week. And I just, again, want to thank you so much. And I really hope to see you on one of the Academy calls so that we can talk a little bit more deeply.